right now coming in from North Carolina, where President Trump has just wrapped up a brief statement. These are the live pictures. In fact, I think we just saw him moments ago, just exiting the building. Yeah, live pictures, so we can't say for sure what's going to be happening next. But if he does decide to make any statements, we'll keep an eye on that for sure. But the video you no doubt recall of what have been dealing with in North Carolina, we have the president who is now on the ground in North Carolina and who is actually visiting 2 disaster zones today, spending the morning in North Carolina, and he'll be late afternoon headed to California today. He'll have a chance to survey some of the damage there, spend more time in California, and then he's off for a rally in Nevada Saturday night. But there is a real focus on North Carolina for the first half of his day. It's been 4 months since Hurricane Helene swept up the East Coast with winds and rain from Florida up into Georgia. But when it got to North Carolina, it seemed to stall, and the amount of rain was of epic proportions. The flooding that hit North Carolina was among the worst they'd ever seen. Now, what have we heard from the president so far today? I can tell you this. He is not a fan of FEMA. He basically is saying, look, I will handle this. I'll cut through all the red tape. We will get you the help you need and get it to you fast. He has been critical of how FEMA has handled this and other disasters, the long wait times that people frequently have been complaining about. So we saw the president arrive just a little earlier this morning, Air Force One. There is the arrival, what appears to be a beautiful day in western North Carolina. And yes, I think it's interesting that the First Lady is accompanying him. As you know, the first 4 years, she did not make a lot of public appearances. But this time around, there she is on the ground. She's going to be there as well to kind of offer her own hope and support for the people of from western North Carolina. Now, it's interesting because the president has been critical, particularly of how FEMA handled things there. You can see him departing there, coming straight down the stairway, and then you have a number of officials who are on the ground in that view. If you've never been to western North Carolina, up in the mountain country around Asheville, it is so, so beautiful. But there are still people there who are suffering. You probably know Fox reports that some people are continuing to sleep in tents and campers despite the freezing temperatures of winter. Thousands of others are staying in motel rooms funded through FEMA and even through a TSA program called Transitional Housing Assistance. But they are facing the chance of possibly being booted because there is a deadline out there. So the president made it clear very early on he wanted to get out there and support the people of western North Carolina. And you can see him right here as he had a chance to shake some hands and meet the people who were on the ground there, who had been lined up for quite a while for a chance to see him. He's going to offer some hope to them. But I think at the same time, he's making it clear, not only is he not a fan of FEMA, he wants FEMA basically to go away. So we'll see how that all plays out. That's certainly going to be one of the big headlines that have come in over the last couple of hours. Now, it's also interesting, after he wraps up there, he will be on Air Force One and headed out to California. He's going to spend some time with California's governor, Gavin Newsome, in terms of should more have been done, what can be done now in terms of helping the people there in California. Now, here's what Gavin Newsome had to say when somebody asked about, the president had complained that there is a fish that is apparently protected in the waters up in Northern California, and that he wants to see more water diverted from whatever plan is going on there to get it down into Southern California. So here's what Gavin Newsome had to say about that.
Maybe the president just doesn't know that there's not a spigot that can be turned to solve all the water problems that he alleges exist
So, you hear what the governor had to say there, but I do think that most of the criticism that's actually been aimed. By the way, Celeste joins us. Well, good morning, Celeste.
Good morning, Ron. Good morning, everyone.
Okay. I think that a lot of the criticism that has been aimed at Gavin Newsom has more to do, Celeste,
Hmm.
with the lack of preparation. They have all kinds of aerial assets on the ground now, and they are ready to go. When that huge fire broke out up there
Yes.
around Santa Clarita, I mean, the planes were all over the place and in the air, and they were ready to go. I saw a report not that long ago as a reporter was live in the back of a pickup truck driving through a neighborhood that
Hmm.
was there was some real concern about it,
Right.
and there were fire trucks parked like every few hundred feet. I mean,
Yeah.
they are on standby and ready to go. So no criticism, I don't think, aimed at any of the brave firefighters who have been out there, but a lot of homeowners, I think, have been saying, okay, you're ready now. Why was the mayor of LA uh, thousands of miles away out of the country? Why didn't she cancel that trip if she knew there were 100-mile-an-hour winds and days beforehand? And Gavin Newsom, all hands on deck days beforehand, getting everything and everyone in place. I think that might be the question that he's going to be called upon
Well,
to answer.
and I think he's criticizing President Trump, but if you take him out of the equation and you just listen to a lot of the interviews that homeowners have been giving, their concerns, and if you look at a lot of the video that has been taken with a lot of the firefighters trying to pull water from the fire hydrants, you don't really need any other proof. The fire hydrants were dry. People were
Right.
saying there was no water. People were trying to figure out how to save their homes and themselves within
Sure.
minutes. Some
And
people
their
had 10
hoses were
minutes.
running dry.
Right.
Yeah.
So there was no water through that portion of California, which is
Well,
heartbreaking. There should have been like measures taken before to prepare.
I suppose that an excuse could be, hey, it's the middle of winter. We just didn't think. We just weren't ready. But it's Santa Ana winds time this time of year.
Yeah.
You get those dry winds that blow instead of the onshore flow, you get those dry winds that come in from the kind of the high desert up
Yeah.
in Utah and Nevada, blowing right across those areas. So they're going to continue to deal with this, and we are going to continue to follow it for you. But hey, we dodged a bullet right here in Arizona yesterday
Yeah, we
with a
did.
fire that was burning. When I say Queen Valley, I just want to make sure that people aren't confused with Queen Creek.
Right.
Everything's fine in Queen Creek. But Queen Valley is kind of a quiet, very beautiful community in the foothills of the Superstition Mountains. And yesterday morning, a fire broke out there. We had Skyfox fly over the scene for the Burr fire. They were busy evacuating homes. And here's what folks were saying.
The wind really makes it tough, on the firefighter. There are a lot of fire trucks, sheriff's department and stuff when we came out of town. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on.
And hoping for the best, I'm sure.
Sure, we always are. A lot of our dear friends are here, all just kind of waiting.
It is a community where you can see the burn right there. They got on this fast. But it is a community that, really probably quadruples in size this time of year. I think you have a lot of winter visitors who come down there, a lot of older people. And so thank goodness that they got it out and got it out fast. But Celeste, the cause of the fire, just remember when it's windy
Yeah.
and you see a situation, where things are flying by, somebody's awning got ripped off one of their patios or
Hmm.
roof lines, hit power lines, and that's how it
And
started.
how do you prepare for something like that? That's just one of those freak accidents
Right.
that takes place,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
Um,
But it's a good warning for
It
all of
is.
us, that's for
Tighten
sure.
up those awning nuggets or with bolts
Nuggets,
or whatever,
bolts.
whatever you
Okay.
call them.
Celeste's pretty well known as not a mechanic.
That's true. Unless I can change your oil and I can change your tire on the freeway in 20 minutes.
Good.
I've been tested.
Maybe you could moonlight with AAA. Let's talk about our situation in Arizona. They actually have made a decision to postpone a planned burn up in the Coconino National Forest because of the winds over the last day or two up there. a crew's got a plan in place to do a big prescribed burn. We're talking about 1,700 acres on state land, but they have decided they're going to wait. All right, so I talked to Shannon Bream today.
Yes.
Is Pete Hegseth's nomination in trouble? Here's what she said. So there was a preliminary vote yesterday on Pete Hegseth. It showed how close this could be. A couple of Republican senators came out against him. He's down to 51. But now there are questions about a couple of other senators, Mitch McConnell, Tom Tillis. So Shannon, is the nomination in danger? Do we know if these latest allegations just came out randomly, or are there potentially still some either people or groups kind of working behind the scenes trying to derail the nomination?
Well, Democrats will say this was part of their investigative process, that they had sent these questionnaires and reached out to different people, including this former sister-in-law of the ex-wife of Pete Hegseth. The ex-wife has come out to say she doesn't agree. No one speaks for her with these allegations that have come out. But apparently this was part of the ongoing investigation, which we understand probably is still in process. So maybe we see something else. He can only lose 3 GOP votes, and then J.D. Vance, the vice president, would have to come in and break that tie. So in addition to the 2 he lost yesterday, he could lose one other, like McConnell or Tillis. But beyond that, he's in real trouble. We should know about 9 p.m. Eastern tonight whether he makes it across that final vote hurdle.
I thought it was interesting that she used that phraseology, that beyond where they know the vote count is right now, that he's in real trouble.
Right.
So if he loses one more, he's fine. If he's losing 2 more, that's it.
There were a lot of things that were brought up in those hearings, but I thought he handled them as best he could.
Yeah.
But it was like digging in. Anytime you run for politics or office or you're in the political realm,
right?
Wait, the skeletons are coming out.
Well, how about that one senator who said, "How many of you have been drunk on the floor of the House or the Senate?"
I'm surprised somebody didn't say I was drunk on the table dancing.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so we have to take a quick break. We're going to show you the poll question, by the way, coming up in a couple of minutes, because we're getting action on Pete Hegseth for sure. But it's mystery cam time. Well, this is good. I feel like Dean's giving us more options. Where do you think this is? Let us know in the chat box. Well, no surprise here. We have plenty of guesses from you guys in the chat box. I do have to admit, Celeste,
yes, Ron,
that Dean in live control, he really enjoys stumping. He doesn't like it when we get it. Now, there's plenty to pick from here, but it's so generic. How many towns have a Starbucks, a Walgreens, an Advanced Auto?
And a Lincoln Avenue.
That's the other. I mean, it might as well be Main Street.
I think we have a Lincoln Avenue right down about 3 blocks south of us.
If there's a town in America that doesn't have a Lincoln Avenue, you better explain yourself. Now, the only thing I will say is a mid-first bank and trust. So mid or first mid. First mid?
First mid, like Midwest.
As
first
opposed
mid.
to second mid?
I mean, these
I
days the cool
suppose.
kids are saying mid, like,
Oh, it's very mid.
it's mid. Oh, that's mid. Like,
Oh.
did you like that burger? It was mid.
Right.
You know,
Well, we're not saying this whole town is very mid.
but maybe the bank.
I hope they got a catchy jingle in their commercials. All right. Who's guessing what?
So we have, Lisa Dinsmore said, her husband said Statesville, North Carolina. We have a Nebraska from Jen's Wall.
Okay.
Angela Brockelman says New Mexico. Linda Montert says Iowa. Thank you all for all the hearts, by the way, in the chat box. Uppy Pond 2 also guessing this morning. And B. Miguel says Alabama.
Okay.
Linda, Iowa. And I'm not sure if I shared that already, but we have some folks
So,
sharing some
what are
thoughts.
you going to go with? Hold on now.
Let's see.
before
Can we
you
take
open.
one more look at it real
There
quick?
it is.
Okay, so I'm going to go Midwest.
Okay.
I'm going to go Iowa.
When I see Lincoln Avenue, it makes me want to
Oh,
pick
Illinois.
but I'm not going to do that because first mid has me more thinking mid-Atlantic.
Well, I was thinking like maybe like in Indiana
Yeah.
or
Well, so what did you say?
I'll go Indiana.
And I'm going to go, believe it or not, North Carolina, I think.
Oh,
All right.
that's
Ready?
also what I think Lisa Dinsmore's husband.
Well,
went with.
Lisa's pretty smart at this kind of stuff.
Charleston, Illinois.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
My goodness, Dino was giving us a hint.
He was. All right. Well, I've heard and
Oh.
been to a lot of towns in Illinois, but I've never been to Charleston, Illinois.
Okay, well-
Charleston, South Carolina.
Yes.
For sure.
That's a great town.
Yeah. All right. So let's go check out our poll question for you this morning. Look at this. We're up to almost 200 votes, but the ratios aren't changing. 3/4 to 1/4. Right now, the majority of our voters in the YouTube chat box are saying, I support Trump's pick. I am for Pete Hegseth. 74%, but 26% I'm against. Just too many questions. So we will continue to monitor your votes. Sometimes we get 1,000 votes.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go on to what a great weekend it's going to be here in the Valley of the Sun. Look at these hot air balloons. Have you done a hot air balloon ride yet?
I've never been in a hot air balloon.
I think you will love it.
Wow.
I went up in one years ago when they had the Thunderbird International Balloon Festival up there at Westworld in Scottsdale.
Uh-huh.
And we went up, and I really didn't know what to expect.
Right.
But when you get within, maybe you're 100 or 200 feet straight down looking
Uh-huh.
at the earth below you,
Yes.
it's suddenly very quiet.
Oh.
You just feel like it's you and the guy that's running the balloon.
And maybe the birds.
Maybe the birds, maybe your date.
Maybe
the
maybe
afternoon.
God up on the clouds.
Sure, if you go high enough.
Hopefully you don't go high enough to rescue those NASA
Okay.
astronauts that are
Sorry.
stuck up there in
Right.
space.
Right. But it does remind me of a story years ago. We're driving home from church on a Sunday. And my son Jordan, who's now almost 40, he was a little kid, and we're driving to church. He said, Dad, look at those clouds over there, way over like by the superstitions.
Yeah.
He said, if we all died right now, we'd have to go up sideways.
Oh my gosh. So cute.
Yeah, there you
so
go.
cute, Ron. Okay, so you were hanging out with the fancy folks in Scottsdale. You were at the hot air balloon ride.
Yeah, that's my mojo.
Yes.
Is hanging out with fancy
You are a
Scottsdale
fancy
folks.
man.
But actually, this is in Goodyear, and it runs today from noon till 9, and tomorrow from noon till 9, and then they get going on Sunday morning too. So that's one of many great events happening this weekend. I just think January and February and March, it's just the very best. In fact, Celeste, I think
Yes.
you might be kind of excited. being a
Oh,
Tempe gal for
my
this event
hometown.
in Tempe.
Oh yeah, right on
Right?
Mill Avenue. Can you
hmm
imagine, Ron? Okay, so they're gonna have a lot of different floral shops there on Mill Avenue.
Yep.
Starts at noon today, goes from 9 p.m. tonight, I believe, and all weekend long.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with the Tempe blooms: you can learn how to make your own bouquet. I
Yeah.
worked at a flower shop in college, and I thought I was going to own a flower shop. Yeah,
Really?
in college, I was like, I think I'm going to own a flower shop, and I think I'm going to change my major to political science. But
Okay.
here I am. I stuck with it.
Yeah, you
You never
did.
know what happens.
Well, it's because you went on the air in Boise and you said, I kind of like
Hey,
this.
this is kind of fun, actually.
Maybe I don't need to open a flower shop.
Maybe someday. At least not today, but maybe next week. But it's really cool. Can you imagine the smells that are
Oh,
had
I
as you're
know.
walking through
Oh,
there?
that reminds me, we have one more event to be sure to mention.
Okay, Buckeye?
This time last year,
Okay.
I took my grandson out to Barrett Jackson.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
And I'm like, what's the rate for a child, please?
And then you're like, grandchild, which car would you like Poppy to purchase for you?
Right. So, ready? Here we go. I especially love that purple car.
Oh my goodness, what kind of vehicle is that?
It's a John D'Agostino 1958 Packard Custom Sportster. Goes by the name of Rita.
What a great memory you have, Ron.
Well, thank you, Celeste. But the thing is, it's more than just cars. Look at right here. Look at Everett, Celeste. That's him doing his Spider-Man best.
He's so cute.
So there's something there for everyone, from grandparents to parents to young kids as well. So, but it's wrapping up this week, and it comes and goes so fast every year.
That's why they launched it now twice a year. I think this was the first year. Last year, Craig Jackson said, you know what, we're going to launch this event twice a year, once in the fall and once in the spring, because so many people love it.
Oh my gosh.
So
it's known worldwide.
It really is.
Now, the weather is beautiful oh, look at this, Celeste. There's the snowman. The weather is beautiful here in the Valley of the Sun. We're living up to our rep. But this is Orange Beach, Alabama.
Wow.
And I went there once. You know, I try to go to every town in America at least once. And the beach it probably doesn't show it here because it had a lot of snow and rain. But it is as beautiful white sandy a beach as you're going to find anywhere in America. But the cool thing was the people were out there building snowmen on the beach. And I hope when you planned your big Gulf beach trip, you packed your parka, because that's what folks are doing. Isn't that amazing?
There was no bikinis had on this beach during that time of the day. That is for sure.
Right.
Wow.
Okay, let's see. A couple of more stories to talk about this morning that definitely got our attention. And one of them has to do with Spirit Airlines, Celeste.
Oh, I love this
story. They are cracking down on their rules. And apparently, you got to wear shoes to get on a plane
The
now.
audacity that they would make that a prerequisite to boarding.
Man.
What?
Who is who's making these rules?
And don't you know, I mean, where we came from, we were all cavemen and women at some point.
How about we don't act like cavemen anymore? So Spirit has just updated their policy, no more offensive clothing. Apparently it's offensive when you wear revealing clothing. Now, who's offended by that stuff?
That's a great question.
Well, apparently the rules are now you got to cover up, but also cover up your tattoos if you got a great big body art. That probably not a little thing.
What if it's on your neck or on your hand?
I don't think so.
Do you have to wear mittens?
See, that's the thing. We'll see how that part of the rule goes.
You have to wear mittens on the plane, Ron.
Right.
Mask.
Anyway, we were kind of chuckling about it because, anyway, you got to cover up. No more see-through clothing. And
can I just share what Leo Mac 323 said
classic,
on? Okay, this has to do with the Spirit Airlines.
Okay.
He goes, Spirit Airlines, LOL, you need the Holy Spirit to survive one of those flights.
I'm telling you,
funny.
We do have the most hilarious audience. We appreciate you guys. You watch us on Fox Local, but if you want to watch it on YouTube, you can join the conversation in the chat box. It's a lot of fun. Celeste, there's a whole new cereal that's coming out. I want to get your take on it. So people like pizza, they like cereal. Why not combine them? This is not some local yokel cranking it out on the edge of the country. It's General Mills.
Okay.
They're coming out with a flavor of Totino's pizza rolls with the sweetness of cinnamon toast crunch.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Yeah.
Pizza. Wait,
It
this
does
is
sound-
Totino's?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, the pizza combined with the cinnamon roll?
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
But
Well-
if it's just cinnamon roll
Okay.
or
Then
just
you're okay.
pizza,
So you think they should have combined with, say, Cinnabon instead?
maybe.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I have been to pizza shops where they have a dessert pizza,
Oh, I love
where it's
those.
almost like they have the crust and they do like cinnamon and sugar,
Yeah.
honey drizzle, something or other, and it's so delicious.
Here's the part that makes the whole story crazy. Guess what they're going to, just give me a wild guess what they're going to package one of these boxes of this about. Just give me a rough.
How much?
Price-wise.
$7.99.
How about free?
That's why they're giving it away for free. Because
Maybe
they
they
know
had
no one's
big-
paying for it.
Maybe they had big plans to try to charge $7.99. But anyway, they're going to put it on their online store next week. Limited quantities, you better believe, since it's free. And it'll probably become a hot item and another one of those, we're reselling on eBay.
Yeah,
Hey,
Sherry Nevada Pup says, that
Yeah.
sounds gross to me. Bleak.
yeah, Sherry speaks the truth for
She
a
does.
lot of
Preach,
us.
sister, preach.
One last piece of video for you here, because to me, this is so hilarious, Celeste. You have these four guys. Now, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a four-man
Oh my God,
quartet.
are you kidding me?
But they're singing along and dancing along, and the cockatoo
What a
is trying to
cute-
duplicate their dance moves.
What a cute cockatoo this is.
Well, we don't know for sure because he's only showing us his backside, but he's ruffling those feathers. He's moving up and down the table. It looks like it might be in some kind of a medical setup.
have you ever seen the cartoon Rio?
Yes.
It's, about,
yes.
Carnival in Brazil.
Right.
Cockatoo is one of the main characters. Cockatoos have big personalities, Ron.
They do.
This is another example of how they shine in real life.
And they got the dance moves as well. So we had to share that with you. Thanks for being part of this, and we'll be back on Monday. But Celeste, it's time to say goodbye.
All right. Have a great weekend. See you Monday.